Brewing a Fresh Start. I had Russ Prefontaine. He is the co-owner and president of Fratello Coffee, and he's talking about a complete rebrand and how he did it overnight. It's a crazy story. You got to check it out on The Culture Hack. Russ Prefontaine, welcome to The Culture Hack. Thanks so much for coming, Russ.
Thank you, Adam.
Russ is the president and co-owner of Fratello Coffee. And if you didn't catch it, last episode we talked about specialty coffee. We talked about how your dad and your parents started it and some of the crazy things that they had to do and go through. It was really, really interesting. And at the very end, we touched on, you guys kind of reached a point where you decided to rebrand the company really overnight at the 11th hour. Is that right?
It was, yeah. We started to rethink about the brand we were and who we wanted to become. Okay. And who we wanted to become was based around Slayer Espresso Machines, the machine we just invented and getting ready to launch.
Right. So espresso was becoming the big thing. You had seen it in Italy and then designed this thing and spent all sorts of time, money, energy into this.
Yes, and it was focused towards the highest end coffee roasters and baristas in the world.
Okay.
And when we looked at what we were doing in the coffee roasting area, it didn't match. And we knew what we were creating was the future. We knew that's where the industry was going. Mm-hmm. So we felt there was no choice but to change who we were. Okay. So by changing who we were was the entire rebrand. So we didn't want to just change the company. We wanted to have a brand new start. And that was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. Okay. So it was obviously downsizing like we talked about in the first episode, but it was also the rebranding of all of our customers. Mm-hmm. So recreating all our new packaging, the marketing materials, website. More importantly though, was the messages of what we were talking. Mm-hmm. So the way we communicated coffee had to change. What we were talking about, what we were passionate about had to change. And that isn't easy to do when you're talking about a 25-year-old company at that time. Mm-hmm. It's a big boat you change directions on.
So was it, you're going through this process, you've got the Slayer machine, with a great name, by the way.
Thank you, yeah.
But was it just kind of a nagging feeling that just kind of demanded more and more attention, or did you have sort of an epiphany? Like what?
It was an epiphany, yeah. It was an aha moment for sure. It was almost immediate. We were so we're so busy creating this machine that we kind of lost focus of what we were doing, and we allowed our executive team to really move it into a direction that no longer resonated with who we were. At the core, we're third wave guys. We're all about specialty coffee. It's what makes us passionate. But that's not what our company was saying. So there was a disconnect there, and it had to happen quickly, really quickly. Yeah, as soon as we realized it, we knew like this is wrong. We need to change now.
Right. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So you came in. You were supposed to be launching this thing. Instead, you stop. You let the board go, and you go down a whole new direction. Mm-hmm. And then the name Fratello is born.
Yeah, the name Fratello was born, which is Italian for brother.
Oh, okay.
And it was myself and two older brothers at the time that were and are partners in running the company. Yeah. And so that's how the branding came about. And it was going on at the same time as Slayer was getting finished. Mm-hmm. So while the rebrand happened, the machine was yet to be seen in public. So there was a race to get that done, so that as people looked into the creators behind the Slayer Espresso Machine, that it matched who we were trying to be and who we were talking to. We didn't want there to be a disconnect.
Because there's, you talked about being so busy building this thing. There's a momentum to it, right? Mm-hmm. You're like, no, it's not who we are. Now we got to rebrand. Yeah. And now we're going to be twice as busy or 5 times as busy, but it has to happen. It has to happen now. Right?
There was no choice. There was no choice. I don't think if we chose not to do that, I don't think it would have been a successful launch of the espresso machine. Right? Even in our own minds. Right. It was getting aligned with where the Slayer machine was going and who it was going to be marketed to us being true to that market ourselves.
Right.
If we weren't true to that, then how could we even sell this equipment properly with knowing our other company wasn't even in the same industry?
Right.
Right. That doesn't make sense.
Because we talk a lot about culture on this show, right? You're creating an experience with the espresso machine. You're bringing it for a reason, and also the mindset of the people that work for you. How did that play out as you were going through this rebrand? How did your staff react?
To be honest, we did it so quickly, and I wouldn't say we did it in the best way with our team in Calgary. There wasn't a large communication as to what we were doing. It was pretty abrupt, to be honest. So this wasn't about culture at that time. This was about branding and positioning. We knew the brand had to change, and what we were offering had to change, and the culture would catch up.
Right.
So as they saw what we were doing, saw the new branding, saw the new messaging, and were part of that they would either buy in or not to what that new culture was going to be. And the people who would believe and resonate with it would stay, and the ones that didn't would move on to a different career.
Right.
There was a significant downsizing in employees at that time as well, from approximately 85 in Calgary to around 15. So the team drastically shrunk.
Right.
So the people that we retained were people that we figured would still resonate with where we were moving, and they did. They totally understood, even though it would have been a big shock to us all. It was a big move. It was a risky move.
Yeah, very bold. But in retrospect, how did it feel? You've created the Fratello brand. You've launched the Slayer machine, and then you go in there and you see Fratello and you kind of see your vision come. Like, how did that feel?
It took a while to get the new Fratello going, right? Even when you change the name and logo and all the marketing, it's still custom gourmet coffee.
Yeah, right?
So it's like it looks new, but it drives the same.
You probably even have customers asking, like, yeah, but is this custom gourmet?
Well, for sure,
Right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we couldn't just change all of our products right away. There was this education and moving people to higher quality. So it took a while for the new Fratello to be born, and in some ways it still is being created. We're constantly making changes and tweaks to our company and brand and how we work and how we communicate. So that was, call it 2012-ish. And still today, right? We're still refining that messaging and who we are. Yeah.
And that actually led you down a path where you started opening up analog coffee and another new brand and all that kind of
That's right. Yeah. We were trying to get our brand Fratello introduced to the public through other people. So as a wholesaler, you didn't have a storefront. So everything we were doing was through you.
Right.
And we're hoping that you were telling our story well, and that you were producing our coffee well. And it was very challenging. Keep in mind, we were going from custom gourmet coffee to where we wanted to be, and hoping that you were changing this quickly.
I was going to come along.
That you would just get it, right? And that just didn't happen. So we took another bold move and thought we need to put this messaging into our own hands. We need to open up our own location and show Calgary what we're actually about, what our products are all about. Showcasing our Slayer Espresso Machines, obviously, and brewing some of the best coffees we could source. So we wanted to show not just Calgary, but the industry on how you can market higher quality coffees. You don't have to sell them all at the same price. You can talk about them different. You can brew them different. And you can charge different amounts according to those differences, treating it more like a wine.
Right.
And that was really a big moment, I would say, in the Calgary coffee community, was taking those steps and leading the way to show how they could do that.
I'm really excited to get into that. So stay tuned. Next time, we're going to talk about analog and how you take control and basically tell your own story, which is such a again, fascinating story. But in the meantime, someone wants to check out Fratello. What's the best way?
Best way is to look up our website, fratellocoffee.com. We're also on all social media channels. You can find them at the very bottom of our website, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok. Check us out.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks so much, Russ. Next time, The Culture Hack, we're going to talk storytelling with Russ and Analog Coffee, so stay tuned. Thanks again, Russ. See you next time on The Culture Hack.